24 hours after the Las Vegas Raiders have released the names that they are going to release this year for the active 53-man roster, yes, they have finally come out with their 53-man, their 53-man roster, but also the practice squad coming today. And I got to admit, I'm pretty excited. I think there's a lot of good players that number one, we've given a lot of praise to when they were first UDFAs coming over to the Raiders during the preseason process. But like I said, you're keeping a lot of these guys around. I'm really excited. So let's jump right into it. This was courtesy of Vincent Bonsignor. If you guys do not follow him, for the love of God, get it done. Get it done. So it starts off with Curtis Bolton here, the linebacker coming up out of Oklahoma. We saw some good things from him during the preseason, and it's really shown that you can't ever have too many good linebackers on the roster. I think, at the very worst case, he could be one of those special team guys and one of those players that you at least keep an eye on. I'm excited to see what he will do throughout the rest of this. And then Isaiah Ike Brown, the corner coming up out of Florida International. We saw some good things as well. And again, with the corners, especially in today's world, things just happen. So I'm excited for him to be back, as well as Bryce Cosby coming up out of Ball State. So again, you keep a couple of good corners in the mix because you never know what could happen. And I believe there are two remaining roster spots out of the 16 yet available for the Raiders. 14 of the players obviously signed today. So and then Matthias Farley, the safety out of Notre Dame. Yes, I love it. And obviously his teammate joining him. We'll get to him in just a second. But yeah, I like keeping these guys, these members of the secondary in, because again, you never know what can happen. Keep them on the practice squad. Keep getting another look at these guys. Can they play corner? Well, two of them at least can. We'll see. Cole Fotheringham caught that nice pass, this preseason. I felt like the last preseason game, against the Patriots. There's a lot to like. 6'4", 246 coming up out of Utah. I know the Raiders already have Darren Waller. They already have a guy like Foster Moreau. I totally get it, but it never hurts to have that another guy that might be able to step up for you on game day. Absolutely love it. Chase Garber's the quarterback coming up out of California. Yes, and yes. I thought he played very respectfully against the Patriots. Now, where there's some things you're like, would you like to see some more? Yes, but that's why he's on the practice squad, to learn and be a part of this franchise moving forward. I think he's at least going to be a very reliable backup for the Raiders. And again, I think there's a process to this. You got to look at all phases of this. Yes, will it take him a little bit to get going? Yes, but Josh McDaniels and company and Dave Ziegler, I've got full faith, and I'm excited to see Garber's back with the Raiders in that regard. Hornes Grasso, the center coming up out of Oregon. Again, I felt like he played pretty solidly during, there were some things where, bull rushes and everybody gets beat during the preseason. But overall, you did like what you saw, adding another solid depth piece to this. Let's be real. This questionable Raiders offensive line, but I still think we'll get the job done for the team moving forward. Jordan Meredith, the guard coming up out of Western Kentucky, 6'2", 302. Again, another solid piece to have on this roster, or at least to have on this practice squad, to have there if you want to pull somebody up. If he's showing stuff in practice, and that goes for every one of these guys. If they're showing things in practice, bring them on up, see what else they can do. You love to see it. Bamidele Olaseni. Love to see it. Absolutely. The mountain, as I like to call him, just bam, coming up out of Utah, 6'7", 339. He's a man. Now, against the Patriots, there were a couple of things where I'm like, ugh, that didn't look good. There were a couple of things that just did not look good. Got beat on an inside move, also allowed, I believe, another pressure that led to a big play. I think it was an interception, if I'm not mistaken. But overall, you like what you see in terms of the size, the arm length, all the different intangibles, all the things that he brings to your football team, but you just need to polish up some of the other stuff, work on some of those weight distribution, some of those punch things, and hand usage, and I think he's going to be just fine. I think at the very worst, he is a guy that's going to come in as a backup starting tackle and do some great things for the Raiders in that regard. So, and who knows, if they can work on him, I think he has a natural fit on that right side if, of course, Jermaine Illuminar, and Thayer Munford don't work out. You've got another backup plan and Bamidele Olaseni. I think with how athletic you have to be at left tackle in the NFL, I think right tackle is an easier transition for a lot of players coming from college to the NFL. I think you could definitely look out for Bam to get his shot there, and I think he deserves it. Wide receiver Dylan Stoner coming up out of Oklahoma State. Saw some good things, but again, we got to be DJ Turner on those guys, Tyron Johnson, even Keelan Cole, who was released. That was a little bit of a shock. But all those guys I felt like really showed that they deserve roster spots and that really do deserve to be, getting those targets opposite of guys like Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs. We know all that. So you love to see it. He's coming back and love to see what he's going to do. Myron Tagovailoa, most of the defensive end coming up out of Notre Dame, whatever. I love it. I felt like he was a guy, if you watch the tape on Mata, you just love everything he brings. He's just a fireball of energy, just never seems to give up on a play. Now, where there are a couple of things, I think it was like the first preseason game, like a substitution that you were like, he probably knows he should be in for that, but things happen. Communication happens, but I think he's just a fireball coming in with all that different energy and all the different things he's going to bring. So you do love to see it there. Zach Van Velkenberg, the defensive end coming up out of Iowa, had like 5 sacks for the Hawkeyes last year. There's a lot of things to work with. He's got the size. He's got, a lot of the length, the speed and everything. I think he could be a guy that you take a look at, maybe add some weight, maybe try him out there as an outside linebacker, at least on the practice squad and see what he can do, but you do love to see it. Also, the Raiders keeping Austin Walter, the running back coming up out of Rice. Love to see it. Here's the thing about Austin Walter. He really showed up during the preseason during certain moments. And yes, the Raiders have like 4 or 5 running backs anyways, but you do expect that this is going to be a running back by committee attack for the Raiders moving forward, and that's just fine by me. And then finally, wide receiver Isaiah Zuber, who had that nice catch and pick against the Patriots, 6 foot 190, coming up out of Mississippi. Again, what you're really going to notice is they're keeping their own guys in here. They're going to develop these guys, and I think that's how you really start to develop not only the players but the franchise moving forward, because these are all guys you had an eye on and that you think are going to be special parts of your team, and I think that's what the Raiders are going to do in developing these guys. But that's it. The Raiders have released their practice squad list. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We really appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truly awesome. We love every single one of you. Down in the description below, you'll find all of our social media platforms. So make sure you guys give us a like and a follow there. Also, remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put it in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about the released list of the practice squad by the Las Vegas Raiders.